guys, Olive here. Now that we are approaching the end of 2016 here very rapidly, I thought I would take a moment to tell you what my reading goals for 2017 are going to be. So in terms of my Goodreads reading goal, my reading goal for 2016 was to read 70 books, which I accomplished at the end of November. For 2017, I was originally thinking I might try to read 100 books, but I am instead going to set my goal at 85. I do tend to read more than my goal that I set out for myself, and every single year I tend to read more. So I feel like in 2017 I will easily be able to read 85, and if I read beyond that, that will just be icing on the cake. Of those 85 books, I would like 70% of them, or 60 of them, to be fiction, and 30% of them, or the remaining 25, to be nonfiction. And speaking of nonfiction, I of course want to co-host Nonfiction November again because it's just a blast. When it comes to the formats that I'll be reading my books in 2017, I'm not going to have any specific goals in terms of reading what I own or reading library books. I participated in #ReadMyOwnDamnBooks this year, and it absolutely fulfilled its purpose for me. Before, I would want to read library books more and then would just have a ton of unread books on my shelves. Since participating in #ReadMyOwnDamnBooks, I have found myself reaching for my own books more. I am reading them. If I love them, they go back here on my favorites mantle. If I don't, then I get rid of them and get new books in their place. So I don't feel as though I need to set any goals for this one. I think I can trust myself to be picking up my own books. That being said, I do desperately want to read more off of my e-reader. I have a ton of books on my e-reader that I have been meaning to get to. I know that there is a readathon specific to reading things off of your e-reader that have been on there forever, so I would really like to participate in that. I would like to participate in as many readathons as possible. I am going to continue to do my reading spreadsheet, but I am going to leave a little bit of wiggle room so that I have the flexibility to make readathon specific TBRs instead of just needing to get to all of the books that I had already planned out for myself. In that same vein of being more flexible with my reading, I want to pick out one random book every month from my TBR shelf on Goodreads to read. This will be something that I do in my wrap-up TBR videos every month. I will be going to my to-read shelf on Goodreads and using a random number generator, selecting 3 different books, all of which need to be able to be read in the upcoming month. So they can't be a new release or something that I'm just totally not able to get my hands on. And then from those 3, I will pick one random book to read. Not only will this be extremely fun and exciting for me to do and hopefully to watch, but it's going to serve a purpose, because there are a ton of books on my to-read shelf on Goodreads. Sometimes I lose track of everything that's on there, not because I don't want to read them, just because I'm interested in so many things. There are so many books on that shelf. So this hopefully will draw my attention to some books I may have forgotten about, help me get to books that I've been excited about but just haven't found a way to incorporate into my reading yet. So that will be a new feature of my wrap-ups and TBRs for 2017. Since we're on the subject of TBRs, there are 10 or 11 classic books that I know I absolutely want to get to this year. I will be making a separate video talking about all the books that I absolutely want to get to in 2017, so keep an eye out for that. I want to finish all the books on my Young Professional TBR that I made in the middle of 2016. I'll link that down below if you haven't seen it. I have read quite a few books that are on that list, but I would like to finish the rest off this year. A few BookTube related things that I want to achieve in 2017. I would like to maybe make a channel trailer. I would like to make some videos that I've been really excited to make for a really long time. I would also really like to focus on buddy reads and being a better buddy reader. And lastly, and potentially most excitingly, I wanted to take this opportunity to announce a project that I will be doing on my channel in 2017. I am very, very frequently asked on my channel, where would you recommend I start with Russian history? Is there any specific area of Russian history that you would recommend a newbie start with? And to be honest, I never really know how to specifically answer that, because while I've read a lot about Russia and studied a lot about Russia, I am not sure there is one specific good place to start. Russian history is a huge topic. Also, not all of my Russian history knowledge has come from books that I would be able to recommend to people. I've learned a lot about Russian history through courses in college. I've learned a lot about Russian history through studying Russian language. I learned a lot by going to museums while I was studying abroad. I learned a ton from my tutor/friend that I met with very frequently when I was in Russia. I follow a bajillion different Russian history, Russian language, Russian politics centered websites on Twitter. I read a ton of articles from there. I figured because I am asked this question quite frequently and a lot of people say they would like to hear me talk about Russia more, and because I love talking about Russian history, that I would do an entire series on my channel in 2017 on Russian history. It is going to be a monthly feature called Russian History Retreat. I am calling it my Russian History Retreat because not only is Russian history my happy place, but it is what armies have to do when they're dumb enough to march into Russia in the winter. So on my TBR, every single month will be a Russian history book. And then during that month, after I have read it, I will come back and do a discussion video on that book, on that topic, and hopefully we can all learn things together and have conversations about Russian history, and I'm super excited about it. I will announce each month's book/topic in my TBR for that month. You're welcome to read the same book if that is your desire, or you can read it afterwards if my video on the topic sparks your interest. Again, because Russian history is such a humongous topic, I needed to pick a starting point. So I decided that in 2017, we will be talking about the Tsars, and we'll be talking about Moscow and St. Petersburg. I would like to say we're going to talk about every single Tsar, but I have found it difficult to find reading material in English on every single one, and my Russian is not quite there yet. So we will be skipping over a few Tsars, and then there will be 2 months where we talk about Moscow and then St. Petersburg. I will be taking November off to focus on nonfiction November. I'm going to try to talk about everything in chronological order, with the exception of October, because if there is enough interest, I would like to float the idea of doing a read-along on the Russian Revolution, since it will be the 100th anniversary this year. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in doing. So those are all of my goals and a couple projects for 2017. I hope you're all looking forward to the fresh start of 2017 as much as I am. If you have any comments or questions for me, you can of course leave them in the comments section below, or if you want to reach me somewhere else in social media, all the links to my profiles are in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.